right, thank you everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started and let folks join as they are able to. It looks like we have a good group of people on this call. My name is Cadence Novak. I work with Asakura Robinson as part of the team working on the bicycle and pedestrian plan update. I'm going to do just a couple housekeeping items here. Please use the chat to ask any questions. It's possible that your question will be answered as we go through the presentation. And if not, we will be sure to answer it before the end of the meeting is up. If you have any questions to clarify something that is being presented on a slide, you can use the raise hand function and we'll make sure that we get that. We are recording this meeting, which was one of the automated announcements at the beginning of this hour. And then if you would like to use live transcript, there is a button in the bottom right on your toolbar that will transcribe all of our verbal comments for you. And with that, I will go ahead and let the rest of the team introduce themselves.
All right, thank you, Cadence. I'll start. I'm Dan Farnsworth, a transportation planner and bicycle and pedestrian coordinator with MetroCog.
Greetings, my name is Colin Harris. I'm an engineer and project manager with Alta Planning and Design.
My name is Cal Hakala. I'm a planner and associate at Alta Planning and Design.
Great.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started here. Yeah. Let's see here. Just a little quick introduction for some of you who may not know who MetroCog is or what we do. With MetroCog is short for the Fargo-Moorhead Metropolitan Council of Governments. We are the Metropolitan Planning Organization for the Fargo-Moorhead metro area. What we do is most of what our work entails is transportation planning. So that includes not just vehicular planning or transit planning, but also includes bicycle and pedestrian planning. So that's what we are working on with this study. Our planning area includes the metropolitan area of Fargo-Moorhead, and that includes the cities of Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Dilworth, Horace, and then portions of Cass and Clay counties. A little background about just bicycle and pedestrian planning in general in our area. We have a rich history of doing this, these type of plans dating back as far as 1975. And also we have a great cooperation with jurisdictions around our area. As you can see there in the photo on the slide, that's the Lindenwood Oak Grove pedestrian bridge. And that connects Moorhead and Fargo, and so it's a collaboration between two states, two cities, two counties. Pretty good work done there, which was done about less than a decade ago. Also, as our area continues to grow, there's more connections and more sidewalks and trails and bikeways that are needed. Also, it's important for us to consider those with disabilities and make sure that our network is handicap accessible as well. And so anyway, we've done a good job in the last few decades doing that, but there's also plenty more work to do with all this planning, and that's why we're doing this study here. So a little bit about this plan. We did our last plan in 2016. So every 5 years, we update our bicycle and pedestrian plan for an ever evolving area and needs that are evolving as well. We take a comprehensive look at our metro area's our network, bicycle pedestrian network, and we seek input from the public, such as you all here. So we're very glad you all can join us. And also we work with our local jurisdictions in collaborating with this plan. And then the plan provides recommendations to improve walking and biking in our area. Maybe one thing I'll note real quick about that last plan that we did 5 years ago is that there was a total of 119 bicycle pedestrian gaps identified in that plan. And we're happy to say that since then, today, that 39 of those gaps have been filled. And so we are making a more complete network slowly but surely. So with that, I'll hand it over to Colin.
Thanks, Dan. I want to describe a little bit of background of where we're at with this specific project as we embark on the plan update. So project steps for this plan include existing conditions, not just infrastructure, but program, policy, and process evaluation too. Working with each jurisdiction in MetroCog, which includes on-the-ground site visits and understanding issues with regard to gaps and opportunities for connecting the multimodal network. And speaking of network, there's a GIS or kind of data analysis portion too, where we're analyzing bicycle and pedestrian networks, looking at collision history, existing connectivity, equity, and priority investment areas. One of the next steps will be to look at needs, visions, goals, and objectives. And this will take into consideration the 6 E's of bike and ped planning, which may include a combination of education, encouragement, evaluation and planning, engineering, enforcement, equity, and also thinking about engagement as well. After that, recommendations. So for this plan, that will include design guidelines. In other words, how to consistently design for comfortable, legible infrastructure for walking and biking. Network recommendations, how do you continue to fill in gaps and complete the network in the region for walking and biking. Process improvement, so taking the understanding of existing process conditions and offering ideas for improving the internal processes within MetroCog in coordination with the jurisdictions, and also including program and policy recommendations. And then implementation, not just doing everything right away, but thinking about the prioritization of those recommendations, the phasing, and also how much some things might cost. And here we are tonight. Thanks again for your participation. I'll hand it over to Cadence.
Thanks, Colin. So tonight we'll be gathering lots of feedback from y'all. We did have a noon meeting today, the same format and same activities. And so all of that information will be used to shape this plan. And specifically, we want to know how we can create safer streets, how we can make it easier for folks to get where they need to go versus also where they want to go. How can we make our transportation system support local businesses along corridors? And then how do we close the gaps where there are businesses and where there are infrastructure? And also, how does our transportation system adapt to changing technology and travel habits, especially as we start to see new technologies out in the field now? And so all of this will be incorporated into the plan and will inform the draft recommendations. So for our interactive activity, I am just going to do a little bit of explaining of how this is going to work, but we're going to ask you the series of questions related to each of these bullet points that you can see here, which are related to how you get around, why you bike, while you walk, what kind of bicyclist you may consider yourself, what would make you walk and bike more, and then the different challenges and opportunities you experience for walking and bicycling today. So we are going to go to Google Jamboard. That is the bit.ly link, which was just pasted in the chat for everyone. So if you copy that link and then paste it into your browser, it will take you to the Jamboard. We are also going to bring up the Jamboard on the screen. So for those of you who may be joining on a mobile device or not able to see a screen, we'll also be reading aloud the comments that are submitted. You also have the option of typing your comment into the chat here in Zoom, and we will input that into the Google Jamboard as well.
Just a quick note on that link, if you copy it directly as it is and paste it in, it should work just great. It is case sensitive. So in other words, the F and the M and the B and the P, for example, have to be capitalized. But again, if you just copy that directly, it should work. And it looks like people are joining. We're mirroring what you're seeing right here on the screen. So looks like we've got people joining that right now.
All right, so there is a little bit of a learning curve with Google Jamboard if you haven't used it. So I'm at the top of the screen and I'm going to click the right pointing arrow to the next frame to explain how to use this platform. So in the left-hand section, there is a sticky note icon. It's also circled in a blue oval to show you which icon we're referring to. If you click that, not now, but when we get to the next frame, you'll be able to type your comments, and then to post your comments to the frame, you'll click save. And you can change the color of your post-it note. So if there are themes or if multiple people start to type the same comment, you might change the post-it note to indicate that there are multiple people who are really interested in that idea or feel similarly. And then to navigate between the different frames, we use the forward and back arrow up at the very top in the center. We have 10 frames today and we are on frame 2. So that will help find your way in that presentation here that we have. So we are ready to click to frame 3. So for this first question that we have, we want to know how you get around. And this can be how you get around most of the time, maybe how you would like to get around in different conditions. So maybe you use multiple modes throughout the day. We'd like to know these things. And then I will pull post-it notes into themes and move them about the frame to organize them by theme as well.
And we're giving folks about 3 minutes or so per slide. We'll have a total of 9 of these. Is that right? 9 or 10. So anyway, we'll just about 3 minutes of these, and we'll let people put those on. I see that we do have one question in the chat from Sue, and had a question, and maybe this is one that we can answer when we get to a slide that would kind of pertain to that, unless you need to hop off the meeting for anything at all, Sue. Otherwise, we can wait just a little bit on that question if that's okay. You can feel free to just respond in the chat if that's okay.
So I'll just quickly read through some of the comments that have been submitted. One is 95% by hybrid car. We have duplicate comments of first they drive, then they walk, and then they bike. Another person gets around mostly by car for work, but they bike for fun and exercise. We have another comment that flips the order where they primarily bike, then drive, then walk. And then there's a follow-up comment that they have been trying to commute by e-bike at least once a week for the last several months. So I'm going to sort of slide that comment in between 2 other ones. And I think we're probably approaching time on this slide.
Yep, just got about maybe 20 seconds left.
Great, not seeing any more. I think we'll go to the next frame.
So we want to know why you bike. We already have a few ideas emerging from the previous frame that some people bike for recreation and some bike for commuting. So we want to know a little bit more about how you bike and why you bike. So we have a comment here that says for fun in exercise. Another comment that says for exercise and fun. And with comments that have a little bit more text on them, I tend to enlarge them so it's easier to read the text. But this one says number 1, fun and enjoyment. Number 2, health. And 3, climate and environment. So this next comment sort of fits in between the ones that I've read already that says, I bike to commute, but I do it for my own exercise and to be more sustainable. Another comment that came in says commuting occasionally, mostly for recreation and exploring state parks, and lately Minnesota's Rails to Trails system. I forgot to frame this a little bit more clearly, but if you want to do one idea per post-it note, you can submit as many post-its as you want. It makes them a little bit easier to organize and to read, so there's not too much text on each post-it note.
And we'll give you a few more minutes, about 30 more seconds or so. If there's any more post-it notes coming along, 20 seconds.
Biking gets my heart rate higher than walking. I'm going to put that under the exercise theme.
Great. Next frame.
All right, we are on frame 5. Why do you walk? Number 1, exercise. We have another exercise comment. I'll group that with the other one that's been placed. Go out to eat. Mostly for exercise, but also for errands and meetings. To get outside. Is there anyone on the call tonight that walks to and from work or maybe to and from school? Don't have a car? That might be a reason why you walk. Every trip that we take does begin as a pedestrian, whether you're going to the transit station, taking your bike, or getting in a car. At some point, you are a pedestrian as you begin your trip. We have a duplicate to get outside.
About 30 seconds left or so.
All right. Not seeing any more. I'll flip to the next frame. Number 6.
Number 6, what kind of bicyclist do you consider yourself? So we in the literature see typically 4 categories that are defined. We have the fearless category of cyclist. This is a person who will ride anywhere and everywhere, maybe not in places maybe where they should ride that we would think of. We have competent cyclists, and then we have a group of people that are interested but concerned about access to facilities and their safety when biking, which is the largest group of people that we find in the literature. It's about 70% of people. And then we have another 30% typically that will not bike, no way, no how is how they're classified. So you may also be on the call as a person who doesn't bike. So we'd like to know if you feel like you fit into one of those 4 categories, or if you feel like you identify in a different way. So we have competent, we have interested but concerned, the duplicate, competent, somewhere between interested and competent. Thank you, that makes it really easy to place that post-it. Are you, any of you on the call, would you consider yourself someone that would only ride paved places, or are you someone who is more interested in riding maybe on dirt or other surfaces that are not man-made? Another way to think about this too is if you are a fair weather cyclist, i.e. someone who will ride when it is nice and sunny, like it has been the last couple of weeks, or are you a person that rides whether it's raining or snowing or any other weather event that's happening? So we have a comment posted, definitely prefer paved, but would consider unpaved in a very rural, low traffic situation. Fair weather, willing to go into light rain when I own the right gear. Paved and gravel, I don't use the mountain bike trails. We have an all-weather cyclist. So I'm going to arrange these horizontally in a spectrum for the weather, and then for the trail surfaces. Another fair weather. Like to ride all surfaces with the right bike. Yes. I do not bicycle on ice. Mostly fair weather. Roads for the e-bike, okay on gravel and dirt with the mountain bike.
A lot of good comments on this one. Thank you all. I guess we're at about 3 minutes, but I'll let Cadence keep rearranging if needed. And if there's one last one coming in, throw it in.
Great. Seeing
All right.
no more.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
next frame. Number 7.
So we have a couple of themes that have emerged from our previous frame, but we want to know what would make you walk and bike more. Better destinations. No ice. More protected bike lanes. Give people priority over cars. For the give people priority over cars, do you have any elaboration about what that looks like to you? We have another comment, extending the Heartland Trail to Moorhead. I'm going to put that with better destinations. A more comprehensive connected paved system connecting core downtowns to outer communities. So that sort of fits with better destinations. More designated bike lanes. I'll put that with more protected bike lanes. More continuous trails. I think that's going to fit with trail extension and a more comprehensive system. So an edit to a comment is give people priority over cars at intersections and crossings. Improved roadway and sidewalk maintenance. So I'm gonna slide that to the right-hand side of the Jamboard near facilities. And I'm actually gonna move ice over there too, since we can maintain, but we can't necessarily control the weather. Another comment is better, easier to use trail maps to review before setting out. Another comment is a further south bike safe crossing of the river.
And we have about 20 seconds left. They keep coming in though, so this is good.
Yeah. Another comment is more direct head bike routes to common destinations, which I'm going to put next to our better destinations comment. Updated trail maps. That is going to live with the trail maps comment in orange. Another comment is a continuation of the bike lane along the river in North Fargo, north of 15th Avenue North. Closer destinations. Having a whole river bike trail all the way up and down north to south.
Maybe I'll just take this time to answer Sue's question, seeing that we do have a few questions about river trails and even crossings. And so thank you for your patience, Sue, and we'll have opportunity for more questions toward the end also. But your question there was will there be a bicycle path from MB Johnson Park to downtown Moorhead and Lindenwood Gooseberry Parks area? So there is a path plan from downtown Moorhead to Gooseberry Park. And then of course that connects into Lindenwood Park. We did meet with the city of Moorhead just last week. We actually biked around some of these areas and they did mention that. I don't recall off the top of my head what year that will occur. Maybe someone knows or recalls from our meeting with Moorhead. I wish maybe Moorhead was on the call on this evening, but don't see a representative there. But if Colin or Cadence recall the year of that, feel free to just let us know. But I think it's coming in the next few years. As far as the connection from downtown to MB Johnson, there's nothing set in stone right now. But however, the city of Moorhead did a river corridor plan a number of years back, and they've been really aggressive at putting in trails along the river since that plan has been completed. So I think they'll gonna continue to chip away, and once they get this one into downtown and Gooseberry, then maybe they'll be working their way toward other directions as well. So we hope to see that. It won't be tomorrow, but hopefully sometime in the future. There will be challenges with the country club and things like that, but these are all things that are being looked at. Thank you for your question.
Great. Go to the next frame.
So we are now on frame 8. What are challenges for walking and biking today? Ice. Feeling unsafe. Could you elaborate on this comment about what it is? What different factors make you feel unsafe? You can put them in a new post-it note. So the elaboration on that is aggressive driver behavior or intolerance for bicyclists on the street. We have traffic as a challenge, also unsafe riding or walking by fast traffic. Distance and traffic submitted as another challenge, set of challenges. Another challenge is lack of nearby shops and restaurants, places to go. This comment says, I consider poor driver behavior a product of being uneducated about the rights of bicyclists. So I'm going to place this with the other green comment that mentions aggressive driver behavior.
Another 45 seconds left.
This comment is related to environmental challenges such as potholes, sand on the streets, inconsistent lighting. So I'm actually going to put that next to the ice comment. Unkept bike lanes. Put that with the maintenance and environmental conditions. A challenge for running is concrete bicycle paths. Uneven sidewalks and tripping hazards. I'm gonna put that. Lack of bike head priority at stoplights. So I'm gonna move this in between the traffic comments and the maintenance comments.
All right. Go to the next frame, number 9.
So as you all just identified several challenges across many themes for biking and walking, we want to know about what opportunities you see for walking and biking in Fargo-Moorhead today. Protected bike lanes are an opportunity. Wide sidewalks. Multi-use paths. I will place that comment in between bike lanes and wide spots. Raised crossings at intersections. Slow the cars, sidewalk maintenance. For the comment about slow the cars, do you have ideas about how you would do that? You can post that in a new comment. Narrow lanes. This comment says gradually improving attitudes and awareness of walkers and bicyclists.
All right, I'll give you about 30 more seconds here.
Protected crossings. Addition of more bike lanes and more trails. We have a duplicated protected crossings comment, more street trees. This one sort of fits in a lot of different themes, but that comment was also duplicated, so I'll move that one over here as well.
Great. Should we go to frame 10 of 10?
Yes, so this frame is a little different. There are already 7 orange sticky notes placed, and these represent different themes. And our ask on this slide is for you to rank these as your top priority, with 1 being your top priority. You don't have to rank all the way to 7. Some people only have 4 priorities or 5 priorities, or if you have another idea about what's missing. So the ideas and themes that we have up here already are enhancing existing connections, building new sidewalks, trails, and bikeways, additional connections between cities, prioritizing connections to and within activity centers, focusing on safety for people walking and biking, and projects in areas with more vulnerable or historically excluded populations. If there are ideas that you think that we missed, if you would type those into a Post-it note and place those under the other orange sticky note. So one way too to show priorities rather than moving the orange sticky notes would be to create a new sticky note with numbers on them. So you could type a 1 in and then move your sticky note to the orange sticky note that you think should be number 1. I won't be able to move the sticky notes on this one because I won't know which is your top priority.
All right, well, we're approaching 3 minutes, but there's a lot of good numbers coming in, a lot of activities, so don't want to stop you right now.
So from y'all's collective ranking, there isn't a clear priority that emerges as the top priority for y'all, but the ones that you did give at least one priority, number 1 priority ranking to include building new sidewalks, trails, and bikeways, connections to within activity centers, and then focusing on safety for people walking and biking. Other themes that were ranked as number 2 priority include enhance existing connections between cities and projects in areas with more vulnerable or historically excluded populations. And then each of these comments have several different rankings ranging from 1 through 6 in some. So this is very interesting data for us as the recommendations in the plan are drafted and formed. So with this, we will switch back to the presentation momentarily. We want to make sure that we have enough time for our next activity.
Okay. Great, thanks everybody. So one other thing that you can do is show us, I know there's been some geographically specific kind of geographic specific comments so far. We have an interactive map that you may or may not have seen yet. And you can show us on the map either now or at your convenience over the next week or so. You can show us walking and biking routes that you use, destinations you go to, and locations or routes that are uncomfortable or need improvement. So the link to that is now in the chat box that brings you directly to step 1. And what we'd like to do is show you on the screen here too what that looks like when you do click on it. It brings you to a map. And just to familiarize yourself a little bit with this, I want to direct your attention up here. A couple things you can do with this map is you can hide the comments, or you can show the comments that are already there. You can view a legend. In other words, what are all these lines that are already on here? We show existing shared use paths, on-street bikeways and sidewalks. And then when you put the comments on, you can see areas where people have added destinations, people have added locations that they think need improvement. The blue dotted lines are routes that work well. The red dotted lines are routes that people think need improvement. And for example, you can click on someone else's input. So for example, here, someone said 17th Avenue is not currently built for bikes. They mentioned there's no good way to get across east-west. One functionality here too, if that resonates with you, you can like it. You can also add a comment onto an existing feature that someone else has added. So that's a way to kind of build off of other people's input and provide your own unique input as well. And how do you provide your own unique input? You can do that on the left. You can put a destination, a route you currently take, a route that you think needs improvement, and a location you think that might need improvement. For example, a crossing of a street that you think could be better. So I'm gonna pause there. If people have any specific geographies they want to zoom in on or even share something that they have added already or think that they might be adding right now or in the next few days.
Maybe I'll go back. I saw Charlotte had a comment just a little bit ago. Has a question mark at the end, so I figured I'd answer it. It says need a bike path from Blue Stem South connecting to 52nd Avenue along the dike. So I'm assuming that'd be there in Moorhead from Blue Stem down to I guess the 60th Avenue, Moorhead, 52nd in Fargo. Yeah, the city of Moorhead has applied for funding for a path along that dike to get down from Blue Stem to 52nd, and then people could cross there. Also, the city of Moorhead, in conjunction with the city of Fargo, is applying for a bridge to cross from Blue Stem to 40th Avenue South in Fargo. So I will note that. But if that is a comment you have that you'd like to see, either of those, feel free to put that into this. You don't have to do it now, but you can use this interactive map anytime between now and October 20th. One other comment I see here from Sue: does the city have responsibility for maintaining the unsafe trails along the river in Moorhead at Gooseberry Park? Are walkers okay to use the trails? Probably the unpaved trails. And okay, I think that's what that's referring to. I believe that would be the mountain bike trails that go through Gooseberry Park. Those were built by the FM Trail Builders, and the city of Moorhead Parks doesn't build them, but they do provide support, and if it's maybe any like machinery or something like that, I believe they support those trails. However, the city has not built those. Are those open to walkers? I guess I don't know the official answer to that one. I know in MV Johnson Park that there is a walking trail and a biking trail, but I can't speak to Gooseberry Park. But if you did want to inquire deeper into that, so you could always check with the Moorhead Parks Department.
Thanks, Dan. Are there any other questions right now on this map? Any geography focused questions? We do want to save about 5 or 6 minutes for any other general questions, as well as a look at the upcoming timeline for the plan and other next steps. Not seeing any. Again, please share this link. There might be one more chat question. Looks like a comment. It would be helpful if all bikers would yell out, "Passing on your left," when coming up behind walkers, or have bells. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. We are making note of these comments, so that's a kind of falls under that category of, you know, etiquette and bicycle and pedestrian awareness, education, things like that.
Please do share this link with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers, classmates. As Dan mentioned, this will be live for at least another week or so until the 20th. So I want to get as many comments and input on this map as possible. We'll be using that input for next steps on the plan. All right. Here's a glance at the timeline. Dan, would you be willing to speak to the next steps and where we've been, where we're going?
You bet. So the plan got kicked off in June of this year, and with a planned completion date of July of next year. Thus far, we've been working on just gathering a lot of existing conditions and visiting sites out in the field. And now this is our first public open house, public workshop, which is occurring right now. It's not just this meeting, but there's also online survey and this interactive map that we just showed you. So we will show you a link on the next page to get to that shortly. And moving forward from this, we will take your comments and the comments we received from all other parts of the public with the survey and the map, and look at our needs and visions and goals going forward, and then move on to some recommendations and bring those to you all at our second public open house workshop, which will occur in the spring of, or maybe the early spring, late winter of 2022, with a planned completion of July 2022. So yeah, so for the last slide here, here's some contact information. You're welcome to contact me. There's my email address at farnsworth@fmmetrocog.org. And so if you have any longer comments, feel free to email those to me. And I can also be reached by phone. You can see my phone number there as well. And then I'd like to point you to the website there. So if you go to the project website, which just got posted there in the chat, that's fmmetrocog.org/bikepedplan21. There you will find information about the plan, and there will be a tab on the top that says get involved. And if you click that, that's where you will find where the survey is, if you haven't already taken that. And you'll also see a link to that interactive map there. So encourage you to do that. Like I said, we will have comments open until October 20th. So you have a week and 1 day to do those. That should be enough time. And so that's all I have. And I see a comment has popped up. Thank you for hosting. Yeah, we have got another meeting astronomy club that I'll follow up as possible as much as possible. So thank you all for participating. If there's any last comments or questions, be willing to answer those before the end of the hour. Glad to see some good participation here. Appreciate you all taking the time to put your Post-it notes on the board. This is really good. I know the weather is sunny and slightly tempting to be outside, so I'm glad you decided to do this. Who knows, maybe some of you are on your phone and you're outside doing this while you're walking, so that's all right too. Okay, well, I'm not seeing much for questions coming in. Once again, I appreciate your involvement and feel free to keep in touch. There's also a keep in touch thing on the website there if you want to learn more and receive emails about future input efforts. So once again, thank you all and have a wonderful evening.